Mass, always taking names and kicking candy ass, live in a living color here with you on YouTube. How we all doing, everybody? Happy Friday, TGIF, if you will. The weather could be a little bit nicer, I'll say that right now. Where I'm at, it's fucking pouring like crazy. And I was kind of like all week trying to think of what should I do for a show this week? What should I do for a show this week? Usually I'm like really, really prepared and I'll watch a film series, I'll watch a trilogy, I'll watch, a couple weeks French Five, I'll watch the Child's Play movies, you know what I mean? Like I'm usually very micromanaging when it comes to what I'm doing for the show because I like to have the stuff fresh in my head. And I was just like, you know what? I've reviewed so many movies on this channel. I've done so many like retrospectives. I've done so many trilogy reviews and stuff like that, franchise reviews. I said today, why the hell don't I shake it up and try to debut a different new kind of show to the graveyard? And I thought this would be a really, really cool idea because if any of you are wrestling fans, you all know what special guest booker is. Special guest booker basically is when they get an old school wrestler or producer or manager or somebody that was in the wrestling business. They bring them in and they give them a year, a company, and the book. And if you don't know what the book is basically the head of the creative force behind what goes in and out of wrestling. So let's say that I am the head booker of Raw. I get to come up with the matches. I get to go with who interacts with who's facing who comes out on top, who's the champions, who's the heels, who's the baby faces. So it's basically the main creative force behind the wrestling product. And I figured that's such a cool idea, and there's been a lot of good ones. There's been Gabe Sapolsky rebooking ECW, the new ECW. There's been Jim Cornette rebooking the Invasion angle back from 2001 WWF. And I thought all those were really, really interesting to watch. And I said, has anyone ever really done this with anything besides wrestling? Like, and that's where I kind of got the idea for the show. I was like, why don't I just throw this into a horror setting? Like, why don't I do rebooking slash special guest booker with John Grande rebooking horror films? So I looked in depth. I tried to find at least 10 movies that I could or would want to rebook from the bottom up. See, some of these I'm going to book from the bottom up. I mean, I'm changing almost everything. But others, I've almost put a little asterisk next to. I have the names of the movies in this hat right here. I put a little asterisk next to a couple of them because there's really only a couple things you need to change to, I think, improve upon the final product. And that's where I'm coming from for this. So, if there's a movie you like in here, odds are I might like it too. And I'll tell you if I like it or not. However, there might be that one or two things that I'd like to change about it to make it that much better. So these aren't necessarily all movies I hate. These aren't movies I love. These are movies that I saw and I saw enough potential in to say, I want to rebook this. I want to change this and I want to see if I can do it better. And hell, who knows? Maybe I'll do even worse. And my audience can judge me, and say whatever they want. They could say, oh, I really liked the way you rebooked so and so movie. Or they can come on and say, hey, man, I think you did a horrible job. I would much rather take the movie that we got over your rebooking. So, anybody and everybody, you are more than entitled to your opinion. Of course, don't insult me too bad if you don't like it. But, I had fun with this. And that's the main thing. When you're trapped in the house, when you literally can't go out, you literally can't do anything. I think there's like no better thing to do than be creative and to write. And I wrote a lot, man. I wrote paragraphs on my phone of a lot of these movies and trying to figure out, exactly where I wanted to take these certain plots and stories and stuff like that. So without further ado, I'm gonna break out the hat of mischief right here. I'm going to shake them up. I got a bunch of names in the hat. I don't know how well y'all can see, but I got a bunch of names in the hat, but they're all covered up. So this is completely random. I'm not even going to look. We got one right here. Let's see. Oh, man, we're going to start this show off hot, baby. I'm going to try to rebook Alien 3. Yes. Alien Part 3. Holy shit. Okay. See, this one I actually put a little asterisk next to it on my phone. I've got notes on my phone, so I might be on my phone a little bit throughout this because I don't want to miss anything that I've written down. I've written down a lot for most of these movies. However, weirdly enough, Alien 3 is one of the two that I had an asterisk on, and I'll tell you why. So, the reason I have this asterisk on Alien 3 is mainly because I would never have made Alien 3. And, that the thing is, after Alien, the first one, I think you have your classic horror, your slow burn. Ripley rises above in the end and escapes the alien, last survivor of the Nostromo, and I think the first Alien's the best. That's always been my opinion. And even same thing with like Terminator and Terminator 2. I always like Terminator 1 better personally. I like the simplistic formula as opposed to let's make this an action film. I know a lot of people like that, but I'm a horror fan. And like I love action films too. And I think Aliens and T2 are kick ass. But horror, not really, especially Terminator 2 is an action film. And then when you go to Aliens, there's some horror in there, but it's very much more sci fi adventure action movie. So basically where they went with Alien 3 was they decided let's make this simpler. Let's make it one alien again. Let's make it an alien that's not a hybrid of a human. Let's make it an alien that's a hybrid of a dog. And let's put Ripley in this all male prison and let's have her get raped and all this shit and have her sacrifice herself at the end and awful CGI throughout. And the film has really not aged well. Um, I gotta say, it's definitely the weakest from the filmmaker. I can't think of his damn name for some reason. He also did Seven, and oh my god, why can I not think of his damn name? This is who directed Alien 3? Somebody help me out here. I fucking drawn a blank here, but he's done some really really great stuff, and I think he's a really good director. And apparently, the studio meddled in this project a lot more than he had bargained for, unfortunately. But I guess that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. And when I approached this, I was like, would I really have made this film? Like thinking about it, like would I really have tried to follow up Aliens? And the answer is no. I would not have attempted to follow up Aliens because I think Aliens to a lot of people is the best one of that franchise. And I think Aliens is the perfect ending for that character. She battles the Queen, she saves Newt, her, Newt, and Michael Biehn all ride off into literally fly off into the sunset. And then in the beginning of Alien 3, during the credit scenes, the Newt and Michael Bihn's character are killed off basically in a very anticlimactic way. And I know that pisses people off, and honestly, I'm one of them. I that pisses me off. Like, what the fuck? Like, you didn't think anything of those characters to kill them off in real time. I thought that was really, really disrespectful to those characters and what they did and what they accomplished and how likable they were because it's a hard thing to do, especially if you look at the Alien Resurrection and Prometheus, and it's not easy to get likable characters in your film, especially if it's an alien film for some reason or another. And I don't know where or why they decided to go that direction, but I would scrap that immediately. So I'll get into the rebooking here of Alien Part 3. So honestly, don't mind the tone of the film, which is the truth. I don't mind going back to the basics. I don't mind. Oh, there you go, David Fincher. Thank you. Somebody had this. I fucking mind blanked on that. I don't know why. Master of Fear, Junebug, and AJ Zetro is in the Heezy. What's going on, good brothers? Rebooking horror films today. This is a experiment in fear, baby. Um, I don't mind the tone of the film. I don't mind going back to the basics. I think a lot of sequels have done that successfully. I think Halloween 4 is a sequel that goes back to the basics, and I think it really works. And I don't mind that. I really don't. However, killing off Newt and Michael Biehn off screen, horrible. That horrible. Like that, those characters deserve better than that. If they're not going to survive this movie, you have to kill them off on screen. An alien has to get them, or Michael Biehn has to try to save Newt and cost them both their lives. Something like that. Like I would totally go the route of they went out fighting. You know what I mean? They didn't go out in a fucking gas chamber, flying home during the opening credit scene. I think that's so weak and so poor that I'm just kind of I throw my thumbs down at that. I didn't like that. I said those characters deserve a more proper send off than they received. Um, I wouldn't have the film take place in a prison with all men. Instead, I would switch it up. I'd have be a women's prison because a lot of this movie feels like Ripley versus the prisoners. And I don't really like that in an alien film. Like, why do I need that in an alien film? Like, I don't think it fits. I don't think it belongs. I don't know if it I don't think it necessarily works. I like Charles S. Dutton. I think he's a good actor. You could literally have recasted him and had him be one of the guards to the prison. I wouldn't have minded that. But I would have done all female prison because right off the bat you can tackle something that really is rarely tackled, especially at that time, which is the horrors of a female prison and the horrors of because with a male prison everyone's like, oh, am I going to get raped, am I going to get raped? This would be a different kind of spin on that and a different look at that, and I think that would be really cool. And maybe Ripley could find that one other badass that is maybe just as badass as her, and they can rise above and kind of fight the alien together. And I would do away with the I'm sacrificing myself and there's an alien inside me and I'm jumping into a pit of CGI lava. I would write that out of the fucking film. I would just have Ripley doing her thing, taking out aliens, taking names, maybe throwing a cool side character along the way that is just as tough as Ripley. And maybe at one point this is going to blow people's minds. Why don't you have this new character save Ripley at one point? Like Ripley is dead to rights. She's about to get killed. And this new character, bam, she swoops in, saves Ripley, just to switch things up because we all know that Ripley has been there. Ripley's done that. Ripley is the final girl. For once, why don't she have her ass saved by another woman that's just as badass? I think that'd be really cool, and I think that'd be a cool direction to take this movie in. I mean, there's a lot of problems with the actual Alien 3, and I know that, Fincher disowns it, and a lot of people do not like the film, and I can understand that. I'm not a big fan of the film either. But I think if you made a couple changes like the ones I just added, obviously I would do high-tech prison, with guns, no bullshit like that. You can make the alien even more intelligent, where it's so quick and it's so, manipulative. It's, gone in a flash. You don't have a chance to shoot it. It's so quick and it's so dangerous and stuff like that. I think that'd be a cool way to take that alien character. Like up the stakes by decreasing the stakes, if that makes any sense. Like I think that would be really, really cool. And yeah, like I said, Ripley defeats the alien once again, and she rides off into the sunset with this new character. And I would end the series there. I would just have it be this is over. Like Alien 3, this is a trilogy. There is no resurrection. There is no Prometheus, none of that. Like I would just end it here if I was to make Alien 3. But in all honesty, again, this is an asterisk one. I would have stopped at Aliens. Aliens, I think, is the be all end all of that series. I think that's where it should have ended. So that is Alien 3, what I would rebook with Alien 3. This is a lot of fun so far. Let me know how I'm doing. If you guys don't like my rebookings, tell me. Tell me why they stink, or tell me why you think they're badass. Either way, I'm cool with it. All right, picking another one out of the hat of fuck here. Okay, what do we got here? Darling. Oh shit. Okay. We got Darling. This is a movie that really disappointed my ass. I actually did a video on my top 10 most disappointing horror films of the decade, and Darling, this little darling here came in at number 1 on my most disappointed. It really disappointed me. I know most people probably haven't seen this one. Like this is definitely more of an indie horror film, so I can give more of the plot and where the story goes. I won't give any spoilers. Granted, there's not much to spoil, because it's a shitty movie. But I will also get into why I rebook it, how I'd rebook it, stuff like that. So basically, Darling stars Ashley Lauren Carter, I believe. She's also in The Woman. She's a pretty good actress. And she is hired by Sean Young. Yeah, Sean Young's in this movie for a whole minute. And Sean Young is basically the owner of this apartment, and she hires Lauren Ashley Carter to watch the apartment for a little bit while she's out of town. And slowly but surely, Lauren Ashley Carter, aka Darling, starts going crazy, and she kills this guy in the bar, and she's chopping up body parts in a bathtub, and the whole film's in black and white. And she's also told there's a forbidden room in the, apartment she takes over. You can't go in this room, right? The movie the movie really is a letdown. And I wanted to like it. I really did. And it's one of those movies where you look at the trailer and you go, "Oh, this is going to be like a new school type of movie that's like Repulsion. This is going to be, a new school type of, you know, old school 60s horror film. You got the black and white element in there. It's very style over substance, which is cool. I don't mind style over substance. But the problem with this movie is it basically has no substance. And I don't, it's just too much. They went way too far with the style because the style really isn't that good in this film. It's not, I think the directing techniques are there. I think the look of the film is good. But I think there really is more potatoes than meat when it comes to the whole total product of this movie. And I don't know. I just think like it was a total mess on that standpoint. Mickey Keating is actually the director of this one. He hasn't made too many great films. A lot of people consider this to be his best film, which I find funny. But it probably is. But I don't know. Here's what I would do to change it though. The film can remain in black and white. However, most importantly, the film needs to be longer. And I really do believe this. 78 minutes with credits. So without credits, let's say the credits are 2-3 minutes. So 75-minute movie. Your movie's barely fucking feature length. That's a problem. And when you have 75 minutes of just style, why not add an extra 15 in to get a little substance to the product? That's just my thing. Like, I think you needed a little bit more substance to this. Like, maybe a little bit more of who Lauren Ashley Carter was before she took the job. A little bit more of Lauren Ashley Carter not being fucking crazy. Because it honestly feels like she's just as crazy from the beginning as she is at the end. And I know that's a lot of people say that about The Shining. But I will say that the character is not a fun crazy. She's very dull. It's not a performance where it looked like she had a fun time. It's a performance where she looked like she tackled it so seriously. And the film has such strong atmosphere that it almost dies because of that. And that's a weird thing. I mean, I know there was an After Dark Horror Fest film I felt that way about called The Abandoned, where the atmosphere in it was so good. The film was bad because the film ended up being dull. There was no life to it. There was no oomph to it. And I felt that way with Darling. I felt like there's no life to it. There's no oomph to it. And if you add that stuff in, I think those little tweaks, I think the film would turn out a lot better. Another huge thing you got to switch up is you got to have more of a gradual descent. I said the lead is dull from beginning to end. Yeah, I remember my notes. This is from like earlier in the week too. I love the shooting techniques. A little bit more substance to the style. I think you could add a little bit more with Sean Young's character. I don't think there was really a reason to have her in there for 1 minute. Like, why did you hire her to be in there for 1 fucking minute? Like, if you're gonna open the wallet to pay Sean Young, you might as well get Sean Young for a little bit more. And yeah, I would have liked just a little bit more substance. I think that's what held this movie back from me liking it. The style was there. I don't think the lead actress does a poor job. I just think it's the tone of the film that really drags it down. It's way too much style, not enough substance. So I would add a lot of substance to Darling, and I think that the finished product would turn out a lot better than what it did. So that's my little rebooking of Darling, and we'll go back to the hat here. All right, what do we got here? Oh shit, Hellraiser 4. Oh my god. Here's one I'd start from the end of part 3, man. I'm hitting the reverse pedal. I'm going all the way back, man. We ain't going into fucking space. We ain't going into the past. There's no fucking toy maker. You know, I'm good with that shit. I'm writing that out. So that's out the fucking window, bro. That's exactly where that is. We are not doing 3 different fucking timelines like Mr. Kevin Yeager wanted to do. And we're not bringing in Joe Chappelle to fucking direct the ending. We're not doing any of that either. We're completely turning this son of a bitch around. This is not an asterisk one. This is one that I'm turning completely around because I would have made a Hellraiser 4, and it wouldn't have been anything like the fucking Hellraiser 4 they ended up making. Oh, here's a couple comments though. Ryan's into Heezy. What's up, buddy? Didn't really like Darling. It was okay, but the end was stupid. Yeah, I don't know. Not a big fan. Sean Young plays crazy real good. Yeah, I just wish I could have seen more than 1 minute of that. Like it was just she's just like, all right, I'll see you later. Like that's all Sean Young does in the film, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, why did you bother to get her? I could have done that. I could have put a wig on and done that. I mean, shit. Like I don't know. I don't get why. Maybe she did it as a favor. That would make more sense, I guess. But I don't know. It pissed me off when I saw it in the theater, man. I was just like, damn, like what the hell are they doing? Okay. Let me find Hellraiser 4 on the old phone because there is a lot of shit here. Okay. So like I said before, we're eliminating the past and the space elements. There will be no pinhead in space. There will be no origin of the box. I always thought that was fucking stupid. The film's going to take place in 1996, and our lead is going to be an actress that is in the film, none other than Miss Kim Myers, who you may remember from Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 as Jesse's girlfriend in that. She's also in Hellraiser Part 4. She doesn't have the biggest lead, she's not the lead in the actual film where, they actually made, but in my film, she's the lead. I have Kim Myers as the lead, and basically, I'm going to read this off. Film takes place in 1996, where the building has been built at the end of Hellraiser 3 Hell on Earth. So at the end of Hellraiser 3, if you don't remember, Joey Summerstill, she throws the fucking box inside the cement thing. And by the end of the movie, there's a building built there with all the lament configurations, designs on the wall. So that building has the box in it somewhere. She's working at that building. We follow her. She's an intern working at the building, and soon she stumbles upon the box. And for the first time in the series, she's able to achieve with the box something that no one's been able to achieve before. See, they've tackled a lot of stuff with the Hellraiser movies. And I mean, they've tackled the hell world with the internet. They've tackled death cults. They've tackled, even Jacob's Ladder type of ripoff with part 5. They've tried to do anything and everything with this series, but the one thing that it blows my mind that they have never tried this. At the beginning of the first film, you learned that the box can give you extreme pleasure or excruciating pain. We never really get to experience the extreme pleasure aspect of the lament configuration. And where I'm coming in here, where I'm rebooking this is, for some reason or another, there doesn't really have to be a rhyme to the reason. Kim Myers finds the box and says, holy shit. She, does whatever she does to the box, and she finds the ultimate pleasure side of the box. All of a sudden, she's in a place like heaven, she's in the clouds, and she's able to experience the ultimate fucking ecstasy, the ultimate pleasure, something higher that of an orgasm. And Kim Myers is keeping it all to herself, man. Kim Myers is doing it every single night. She's loving to love the box. And sooner or later, Pinhead's going to find out about this. And Pinhead is not going to be pleased that somebody's fingering his box and not reporting to him immediately. And so Pinhead is going to go up to the ecstasy land. You could be really creative with it, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I'll call it ecstasy land. Ecstasy land is the other side of the box. Whereas in part 2, you get Hellbound, you get the Hell World and all that stuff. Whereas in part 4, where I wouldn't even call a film Bloodline, I'd call it, anything else. Just Hellraiser 4 is fine. It doesn't even have to have, a subtitle. Or Hell Meets Heaven, or Heaven on Earth, or Heaven Meets Hell, something like that. You can do anything like that with that title. Pinhead goes up to the fucking, ecstasy land, and all fucking hell breaks loose. You'll have Cenobites taking on like angels. You'll have Kim Myers trying to talk down Pinhead, and Pinhead will say, I'm not cool with this. This is bullshit. Everybody that opens the box needs to answer to me. And you can even have a reverse Pinhead, somebody in the ecstasy land who is like the Pinhead for them. And you could have a face off between those two, and kind of cool, British dialogue between those two motherfuckers drinking some fucking tea and crumpets. I don't know about y'all, but I would buy that over Hellraiser in fucking space, personally. Oh, hell yeah, Kim Myers gets sexual, but yo, hell yeah, why not? Why not? We never saw it in the series before or since. We have a good final girl lead. You know, I did not like the leads in the actual Hellraiser 4 because it jumps around so fucking much. Adam Scott's randomly fucking in there. No bloodline bullshit. Just go back to the basics. Let's go back to the box and what makes the box interesting. And I don't need to know the origin of the box. I just want to know what else can the box do. You know, we've seen it do hell. We've seen it release all these different kinds of Cenobites. But what about the ultimate pleasures of the box? The reason that anybody ever gets it is to experience that. Kim Myers is able to achieve that in my film. And I think that would be a really, really fun place to take the movies. I think that would be a totally new, different direction that would open up a numerous doors of possibilities that you could take the series. And, I don't know, maybe the film would have done well. Maybe the films would not have gone direct to DVD. But even if they had, you still have so much more to play with, I think. I think that's one of those things where you had so much more you could play with on the surface of that. And I think it really, really would have worked. So that's kind of my bare rebooking of it. I think it would be a lot of fun. I think writing the dialogue between Pinhead and the ecstasy leader would be really cool. I don't know, man. I think that'd be a really fun little movie to write and direct and stuff like that. I think it would have been much better than what they did. I'll take Ecstasy Land over fucking space and the past and explaining the box and Cenobite dogs and Cenobite twins, which is stupid. And that's all in Hellraiser 4. I swear to God, there is Cenobite dogs in Hellraiser 4. I am not fucking kidding. Some fucking genius in the back room was like, let's make, well, I know what we've never done, a Cenobite dog. Are you fucking kidding me? Like that, like, I'd rather see Kim Myers like getting off into Ecstasy Land personally. I think that'd be badass. A little boobs, a little blood, a little mayhem, a little Pinhead, a little fucking Ecstasy Land. I think that would have been a lot of fun, and I think it really would have fit the theme of what Clive Barker's Hellraiser was trying to do more so, because that film does have a lot of sex and romance in it. The lead, Julia is basically in love with this guy and is trying to get his skin to regenerate so she can fuck him again. So that's usually the plot and the goal of these movies. Well, at least the first film. So why not go back to those roots? I think that'd be a lot of fun to tackle that personally. I think that would be a cool way to take Hellraiser Part 4. All right, back to the hat. Guess who's back? Back again. All right, what do we got here? What do we got over here? Oh, I put Hellraiser 4 back in the thing. That tells you this is completely fucking random. Okay. Let's take this one. Let's see. Oh my fucking God, another one. We got Jason Goes to Hell. Not Jason Goes to College. Not Jason Takes Manhattan. Jason Goes to Hell. Holy shit. Okay. The final Friday, right? This was supposed to be the final Friday until they led into the inevitable ending where, New Line owned Freddy and Jason, and they wanted to make Freddy versus Jason. We might see Freddy versus Jason in the hat. I don't know, possibly. We're getting all somebody. Don't change this one. I guarantee you that my version of this is way better than what they did, in my opinion. But again, that's the fun of this. Like, if you think it's Ryan, if you think it sucks, tell me. You just be like, yo, this sucks. I'm sorry, I don't agree. Like, that's the fun of this, and that's the fun of guest booking. Like, I think that is the coolest thing ever. The box becomes dildo. Oh shit. Duke's in the rebooking. No worries. Duke is in there. That is, there's no body jumping in mine. Oh boy. Yeah. Man, come from somebody with a Jason mask on. Here's the fun thing, AJ. Jason is actually Jason in mine. He's not going to be body jumping through motherfuckers here. Okay. This is the rebooking here. Jason Goes to Hell. All right. I'm actually going to have this one, just as a nod to Part 8, because I don't hate Part 8 at all like most people. Jason Goes to Hell. Following the events of Part 8, Jason ends up back in Camp Crystal Lake, washed up in the sewage from Takes Manhattan. I literally put LOL after I wrote that because it's so fucking ridiculous. But, I'm fine with just a little bit nod. Jason's back to human form. I guess he grew back. He grew back up by the time he washes up on, Camp Crystal Lake, right? We follow Jason as he wanders the campsite, and then we're introduced to Bounty Hunter Duke, still played by Stephen Williams. I think he's the best thing in Jason Goes to He's making absurd demands and trying to kill Jason Voorhees. Trying to reason with him, Duke continues to increase his bounty price until we see a door open and the camera pans to footsteps of the person entering the room. Everyone in the room slowly starts to come to a complete hush. I'll kill him for nothing. The camera pans up to Tommy fucking Jarvis, played by, I'm going to have it be Tom Matthews, just because Corey Feldman was still a little bit young at the time. You're thinking about 1993. I know he was, he had hit puberty, but he wasn't like a full grown man yet. I would have brought Tom Matthews back. Why the fuck not? Because I think Tom Matthews is fun in part 6, and I think he's pretty charismatic as Tommy, and he keeps some of that boy-like charm that Corey Feldman has in the beginning of part 4. I like Tom Matthews a lot. I like John Shepherd too, but John Shepherd was more serious, whereas I want this Tommy Jarvis to be a little bit more like the Tom Matthews one in part 6. If you disagree, if you have Corey Feldman return at age 15 or, John Shepherd at whatever the fuck age, please let me know. You stand here making absurd demands because you've stopped a couple serial killers, because you've busted mob bosses. Jason Voorhees is an unstoppable freak of nature. As a matter of fact, he's a force of nature. If you think you can take him, you're sorely mistaken. And who is this clown up in here? Get out of my way, son, because if you get in my warpath, I will not hesitate to clear you right off it. You think Jason's unstoppable? Wait till he gets a load of the Duke. So I'm having, oh, hell yeah. We got some, Thomas Jane. How old was Thomas Jane at this time? If Thomas Jane was of age, why the fuck not? I would love Thomas Jane as fucking Tommy Jarvis. I fucking love Tom Matthews. I think he's fantastic. I love him in Return of the Living Dead, of course, as well. Even in Return of the Living Dead 2, which I'm kind of iffy on that movie. But I love Tom Matthews. I think he's a lot of fun. And I totally think it was I think it's the best move to bring him back. I think he's a lot of fun. But I will say, Junebug Films, Thomas Jane is an awesome choice. Whatever the fuck age he was, let me know. Because if he was, 20 or older, I'm with it. I'm so with it. So you get some dialogue scenes between them two. I literally wrote out paragraphs upon paragraphs on dialogue between those two, the fun dialogue you could have. And I think you could just have a ball with that. But for time's sake, we'll just keep moving. Jarvis starts to take the long drive down to Crystal Lake after those dialogue scenes, and we're introduced to our teen characters again. And in old school fashion, Jason can pick them off one by one. You can have your classic stereotypes. You can have your whore with the big old titties. You can have the jock that thinks his shit doesn't stink. You can have the goody-goody two-shoes girl. All this stuff, all these classic slasher trope minority characters where Jason's picking them off one by one, just like the old school Friday the 13th films. No body jumping. We're at Camp Crystal Lake. Jason is doing his thing, taking people out, taking people's names, throwing the machete around, just like Jason would, and that, I think that's the best way to have Jason go out, is killing kids off in Camp Crystal Lake and coming down to a crazy finale, which is what I booked here. So he's picking off everybody one by one. Tommy Jarvis arrives and he meets the final girl. It's down to the final girl where Tommy Jarvis finally arrives. And he's like, what's going on? What's going on? Has he killed that many? She's like, of course. Next thing we know, a van pulls up. And it's a bunch of new kids. And we're all like, what the hell? What the hell's... We already had our cast of characters. They've all been picked off except the final girl, of course, who's going to find a way to live. No. A brand new set of teens come out of this van, Friday 13th Part 3 style. And Tommy Jarvis is like, what the hell are you doing here? And they're like, oh, craziest thing ever. We met this guy up the road. He said that these cabins were free for the weekend. And soon enough, you find out that Duke has set up these teens as bait to lure Jason in to kill more teens. He doesn't even know that Jason has killed all these other teens already. So we are doubling the body count. If Jason is going to hell, he's going out with a fucking bang. That's the psychology here. All of a sudden, Jason shows up, all these teens, breaks the one by one trope, and he goes full on Cropsy the Burning Massacre style. He is going wing, like, chopping people up left and right. Everybody takes off running. Hell is breaking loose. Shit is hitting the fan. All this shit's going on, man. I love this stuff. I think this is a lot of fun here. And you could just have an all-out massacre because we don't have a lot of that in the series. You don't have scenes where Jason kills 20 people at once. But here we are. We'll say the teens have got 7 or 8 people, and he's picking them all off like second after second after second. It's going to be awesome. I think that would be really, really cool. And then we get to the finale where Tommy Jarvis and the final girl are together. The Duke finally confronts Jason, and he starts shooting Jason from behind with a shotgun. I can read from here. Hold on. Let's see. I'm just trying to find my place here. I remembered all the other stuff. Steve Williams shoots him in the back of the head with a shotgun. Jason goes down, and he's like, "Is that it?" Duke starts cutting this promo. "Is that it, man? I just took out your boy in 2 seconds, man. Used the bait. The fish took it. I grabbed the fucking trout." That's exactly what Stephen Williams is going to be doing, cutting that promo. And next thing you know, Jason's going to get up. Jason's going to get up and just start choking the hell out of the Duke. And Tommy Jarvis is going to take a shot at Jason with his rifle. So you get back and forth where Jason's going like almost like a monkey in the middle, going back and forth at both of them. Until Jason just decides, fuck this. He throws Stephen Williams against a tree. He starts choking Tom Matthews to death and chokes him out. And then we hear from the background, we hear, Jason. Jason's kind of like, what the fuck? Jason turns around, and it's none other than Amy fucking Steele. Yes, Ginny from Friday the 13th Part 2 shows up at Camp Crystal Lake. How she found out, why she found out, we don't got to get into that bullshit. That's okay. Amy Steele, Ginny shows up, and she's like, hey, Jason, remember me? And Jason turns around. Jason's in shock. Jason's like, oh, my God. And, you could have Amy go, you got Paul, you got all my friends, but you didn't get me. You might have got my sanity, but I'm still standing here as tall as you, Jason. And you could have the stare down between those two. And he starts walking towards her slowly, raising the machete ever so slightly if Jason's going to have one final victim, right? Tommy Jarvis comes from behind, strips the machete out of Jason's hand. Jason turns around, goes to finish the job on Tommy Jarvis. He's choking the hell out of him, right? Amy Steele takes the machete that Jason was stripped of. Bam! One swoop decapitates Jason Voorhees. Jason hits the deck. Amy Steele helps Tommy Jarvis to his feet, and they literally walk off into the sunset. And the one thing I will keep from Freddy, Jesus Christ, with Freddy is the ending. I will keep the ending where Freddy's glove reaches up out of the ground, grabs Jason's mask back into hell. I think that's genius. I love that. The first time anybody sees that movie, they go, oh my God, that ending. I know people that would literally, they went back to rewatch it in the theater just for that final 5 seconds of Freddy's glove grabbing Jason's mask. You have Freddy's glove grab Jason's decapitated head, pulls it down to hell, and there you enter Freddy versus Jason for whenever you want to make that film. So I thought that was a lot of fun. I thought the fan service was fun. You bring back my favorite final girl. You bring back Tommy Jarvis, who's like my favorite final guy, I guess. You still have the colorful and awesome Duke, cutting promos on Jason and why Jason is not all that. No more body jumping. No bullshit where, the SWAT team got Jason. Bullshit. No, I don't want any of that. I want some fan service. I want some big old titties, some yitties. I want some gore. I want Jason, the body count to be the highest in the series. I want to get K&B doing the effects. I want Tom Savini directing. I think all this stuff, me as the writer, of course, I had fun with this. I just think this is something that they could have done. If you're going to go out with a bang, why not go out with a bang? Why go out with body jumping and, it's his sister? Are you fucking kidding? Come on. I don't understand that element at all. I think that's so weak when, you have Amy Steele still acting at this point, still looking hot as ever. I'm just personally, I think this would have been a lot of fun personally. But, okay, let's go back to the comments. 24 in 1993. That's all Thomas Jane would have been. Again, I would have took him. I would think he would have done a really, really good job. But it's okay. Thomas Matthews, Thomas Jane, Tommy Jarvis, they're all Tommies, right? Come on, Jason, you pussy. Bring back Amy Steele. Yeah, yo. Amy's my gal. If you can't tell, Amy's my gal. I love Friday the 13th Part 2. I'm a pretty big mark for Friday the 13th Part 2. I want to bring her back. Your version, Jason goes, Thank you, my good friend Aiden. I really appreciate that. I just had fun with this. Something I think that the filmmakers thought they were doing. But I always, that Adam Marcus or whatever the hell his name is, he always comes off as such a fucking, ugh, I don't like him. He's just so too smug for me. Like just way too conceited and what I wanted to do in my movie. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, just have fun. Enjoy the series for what it is. Don't make it more complex than what it has to be. I think what he tried to do was reinvent the fucking wheel. Whereas the Friday the 13th film, the best and smartest thing you can do is the same thing as the last 8 films: boobs, blood, mayhem, Jason Voorhees taking names, kicking ass, all that good shit. That's what Friday the 13th is, in my opinion, and that's why I would switch it to that. All right, so that's Jason Goes to Hell. I'm glad. It seems like most of you guys liked it. Even I don't know if Ryan liked it. I know Ryan loves Jason Goes to Hell, so maybe he preferred the regular version that they have. But I thought this was a fun alternate version. Back to the hat of fuck here. All right, let's see. Holy shit. Here's one we can kind of skim by because I tried. I swear to you, I tried. I spent over an hour trying to rebook this one. And I fucking honestly to God really couldn't, other than very simplistic reasoning. I'm talking about Blair Witch 2. No Book of Shadows in my Blair Witch 2. It's just Blair Witch 2. This is the second one where I remember before I was saying I had an asterisk on some of these. Blair Witch 2 has an asterisk. I would never fucking make a Blair Witch 2. I think Blair Witch 1 said all you needed to say. I know people to this day don't like the original Blair Witch Project, which is cool. I know a lot of people don't like the film. That's fine. If you don't like the film, there definitely shouldn't have been a sequel. And if you do like the film and you do herald it as one of the great horror films of the 1990s, you would know at the ending, there's really nowhere you can go from there. I think that ending is, even if you hate the film, you got to admit the ending is genius. And I think the ending is creepy. And like, I remember the first time I saw it, I got off my couch and was like, that was fucking creepy. Like, I didn't see that shit coming. And, as the film ends, I was just like, yo, 2 thumbs up. Like, that scared the shit out of me. But booking a Blair Witch 2, man, I'm not sure where I'd go from there. I wrote some stuff down. I mean, this is just, I'm literally throwing shit at the fan right here. Let's see. It was the last one I worked on, I believe. Blair Witch 2 Book of Shadows. This one is entirely start from scratch. And honestly, I try to do the same thing again in many ways as the first one. Maybe someone finds the footage from the first film and is so disturbed by it they wanted to see for themselves what exactly happened. So you have some kind of film geek that watches this and goes, "Oh my God, these 3 went missing for real. Holy shit, what is going on?" And then bang, bang, boom, they go back into the woods. It's shot on video. We're not going to do it shot like a real film, which defeats the whole purpose, I think, of the Blair Witch style, because that film made that style much more popular at the time and was one of the most ripped off movies possibly ever. I mean, the Bogus Wench Project, the Scary Movie, parody of it. There's so many parodies and spoofs of the Blair Witch because all you really had to do is grab a fucking camera and run into the woods with some friends. Like, it wasn't an expensive venture to rip off. But with that being said, I would just try to do the same thing again. I just have some kids go back into the woods. They start seeing some creepy ass shit, and one by one, they're getting picked off. I think that would be cool. Again, I wouldn't show the witch. I wouldn't reveal too much. You could have something where maybe they run into one of the characters from the original film, but then again, that ruins the mystique of the original film. So this one I found the hardest to rebook because I don't know if I'd rebook it at the end of the day. Like, I initially, like, how I did this was I found 10 films that I think could be better with a rebook. And then, when I sat down, this and Alien 3, I found the hardest to kind of tackle because I don't think I would make these films, to be honest. Like, I don't know. Like, if Hollywood came to me with billions of dollars, maybe then, that maybe that's what you'd get, the movie you'd get. But I don't know. There's a lot of shit I would make a sequel to or rebook or remake or whatever before I'd even attempt to do one of these. So basically, I just do the same thing over again. I'd have more kids come into the woods. They're getting picked off by the Blair Witch again. Try to create some atmosphere and some suspense, stuff like that. I would just try to do the same thing again and see if it works and, capitalize and make some money, because I know Blair Witch 2, Book of Shadows, I know it was a huge flop financially. It was a huge, huge flop commercially and critically. and it was just a huge flop altogether. And so was Blair Witch 2016. That's a piece of shit of a whole different color. I hate that movie with a burning passion. So yeah, that is what it is. Blair Witch 2, little asterisk next to it. I try to do the same thing again and see if I can make some more money, and then maybe I'll make a trilogy out of it. That's probably the route I would go. I try to tackle it like a money thing as more of a passion, because passionately, I would never make it. Yo, it's a hard boy in the hazy. No worries, good brother. And it plays the good and bad and ugly music as they have the stare down. Yeah, see, Ty Junebug. I know Ty Junebug loves Friday 13th. You have fun with it, man. That's all you got to do is just have fun with it. Like, I think that's the beauty of the whole thing. Like, I think that's why I love Friday the 13th. It's a fun series. You have so many great stare down moments. You know, in Friday the 13th Part 5, when Tommy Jarvis finally confronts Jason, and that moment in the barn, and Reggie the Reckless goes, Tommy! You know, like, as a fan, you know, that just gets me hyped, you know, like, especially a wrestling fan, I guess. You know, maybe that wrestling fandom, you know, kind of rubs off and oozes into my horror love. Like, I just love stare downs, man. And a stare down between Tommy Jarvis and the Duke, and a stare down between Steel and Jason just for the one last hoorah, I think it would have been pretty awesome, personally. The thing about Blair Witch that makes it so genius is that it seems so real. Yeah, exactly. That's another thing. Like with the sequel, okay, this is a Hollywood film. This is, you know, the guy from fucking Burn Notice and a bunch of fucking idiots in the woods, and they hallucinated everything, and they murdered people and didn't know it, and that it was a lame movie. I will give it this, it was a bold movie. They didn't try to do the same thing over again. However, I do think if there was ever a Blair Witch movie that was going to work, you would try the same thing all over again. However, which Aiden makes a good point here, Blair Witch 2016 was a flop too. Damn right. That movie, a lot of people could say that movie tried it again and it failed. My problem with that movie is it tried to show everything. And it was just so unbelievable to have them going into the woods 15 years later looking for the same characters. Like, why not have, if you're going to do a sequel, bam, following year, they went missing a few months ago. You can have the film take place a few months after the first film. Bam, that's more believable than what they did with that sequel. And, you know, I wouldn't show as much. I try to do better characters. I try to make the film a little bit more fun and likable towards the beginning, and then of course creepy and atmospheric towards the end. I would that's what I would do. I don't like the formula is not that fucking hard, but for some reason it was fucked up twice after the original. I don't know how they managed to do it, but you know, it is what it is. I just don't like Blair Witch because I'm not a fan of found footage. Hey, no, nothing wrong with that, man. See, like that's the thing I said at the beginning too. Like if you're not a fan, you know, there's no reason to make a sequel anyway. So you know, I this one definitely I had a hard time, but we'll go back into the bag of fuck here, or the hat of fuck here. Let's see. Oh boy, here's one that's going to be probably my most controversial pick. You've got a concept for a sequel for Blair Witch Project, dude. Please put it in the comments. I would love to read it. But I'm going to get into this one, and then I will promise I will read your sequel concept. Anybody, if you got sequel concepts, anything for any of these movies or a movie that I haven't discussed, feel fucking free. I would love to read, and I promise I will read it when I'm done about this one. This is going to be controversial. People might fucking hate me for this, but hear me out because I love the film. I honestly love the film. I revisited it last night just to confirm. I do love this film. Scream 2. Let's talk about Scream 2. Okay. I like the film. I like the Scream series. I like 1, 2, 3, and 4. I like all 4 of them. I have a couple big fucking problems with Scream 2. But you can easily make the change. And I think it's arguably one of the best Scream films if you make these 2 changes. So I'm going to go back to the phone here. I've got it. Scream 2. Okay, we're only really changing 2 major things. Number 1, Randy is not dying. In fact, he's surviving and ending up with Sydney by the end of the 3rd film. Because all of us horror fans, and I could speak for us all here. I promise. I don't think I'm going to say anything too out of line. We all saw a little bit of ourselves, I think, in the Randy character. Horror movie fan with the girl that he's best friends with. She may be a little bit out of his league, but we all want to bang. We all want to plow. Like, let's be honest. And, you know, I think that would be a cool thing to have them end up together. And there's a point in the film where he goes, you know, what would you change, Randy? And he goes, I'd have the guy get the girl. Why the fuck not? It's a film. It's cinema. Why can't he get the girl? Why does she have to fucking ride off into the sunset with Patrick fucking what the hell's his damn name? Uh the fucking guy from Grey's Anatomy. I can't think of his damn name. I almost said Patrick Swayze, but it's not Patrick Dempsey. That's it. Patrick Dempsey. But no offense to Patrick Dempsey, but holy shit. Like that no, like I don't want to see that. Like he was not even a bad character, but we all want to see Randy over that guy. Let's be honest. So Randy's surviving, and by the end of part 3, he and Sydney are riding off into the sunset together. That's how I want the series to end there. 2. This is the bigger one of the two. The reveal of the killers are going to be changed. Yes, Mickey is still going to be one of the killers. However, we're going to have Haley be revealed as the other killer. So I put a mean word here. The stupid Debbie Salt is completely written out of the film. And Haley is going to be revealed as the killer at the end. We could still do everything the same. The opening's the same. The kills are the same, aside from the Randy one. We can do, all these kills over again. We can have the same finale on the stage, like I said. And, instead of Debbie Salt being the fucking killer, we're going to have Haley. And I wrote a promo here. I thought this was pretty good. Oh, Sydney, this must be a surprise. You thought I died back in the car there. See, it was all a setup. I think I gave a pretty great performance. Don't you agree, Mickey? You're just a natural Jada Pinkett, babe. See, I thought that was cool because Jada Pinkett gets killed off in the beginning of the film. Because these films are all meta, right? So why not have some meta dialogue in there? I thought that was a lot of fun to write. And of course, that scene where she dies in the car, like they're trying to sneak out of the car, which is a really good tension-filled scene. We're going to say that, we thought she was dead there, but it was all an act. It was all, they put that show on and she survives and then shows up at the end. So that's how we're writing ourselves out of that Kevin Williamson stuff. I know, Sid, I know. You're wondering, how could I? I'll tell you how. I'm just so sick of playing second fiddle to you. You know what it's like to be known as the girl with Sydney? I'll tell you how it feels. It sucks when sororities come up to me, sororities that I'm a part of, and instead of saying hi to me, they say hi to you. I'm sick of it. You get the A-list boyfriend, you get the lead in the play, and you get all the attention. Tonight, I'm going to get some attention. Tonight, Mickey and me get bumped up. B-list to A-list, just like that. You committed these murders, Sydney. You tried to cover them up by blaming your boyfriend yet again. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. You get the picture. So I'm going balls deep with Haley as the side killer here. I think that's much more interesting. Here's the friend that throughout the whole film really does not get. I rewatched the film yesterday, so it's very fresh in my mind. She does not get much dialogue. She does not get much to do. She literally is standing there basically just to say, "Oh, Sydney's friend," like that's all her role really is in the film. Why not do more than that? Why not make her a more vital part to your finale? I think that's really cool. I think that would be a really, really cool way to say it. I love that. I've had a fun time writing that promo because I think it's so true. I'm just literally standing in your fucking shadow right here. I'm sick of it. I'm taking the shadow away, and me and Mickey, bam, B-list to A-list overnight. That's what we're doing. I love that. I think that is a really cool way to take this, and I think that'd be a lot of fun. So, out of nowhere, Mr. Cotton Weary appears. That's quite a plan. I'm glad that this time I'm not being blamed for all the murders, but Sydney, you're a lot of things. A killer ain't one of them. And then here's Haley's response. You made a mistake coming here, Weary. Looks like we'll have to pay the price. Mickey lunges towards Cotton and the two start fighting. Then Sydney and Haley will start fighting. You have this crazy tornado tag, brawl on the stage. A lot of fun there. We're going to have Mickey choke out Cotton temporarily. And Sydney's got Haley on the rope. She's got her down and out. All of a sudden, she's grabbed from behind by Mickey, and Mickey's got her, and the two stare down. And the next thing you know, who else enters the room but Jamie fucking Kennedy? Yes, Randy, who has survived. He's not dead. He did not die in that bullshit way. Randy opens the door and starts fucking screaming not to kill Sydney. Don't kill her. He's at a distance. And he says, hey, Mickey. He goes, how about we play a little game of trivia? Winner lets Sydney go. Loser you can do whatever you want. So I'm literally in the finale here. I'm gonna have Randy and Mickey, the two ultimate film nerds, film students, play a game of trivia over Sydney's life in the middle of all this fucking chaos. I think that would be a lot of fucking fun. I even wrote questions down. I don't know if you got, I can read the questions. Why the hell not? The dialogue's a lot of fun. Question 1, Randy. Who did the special effects on John Carpenter's The Thing? You guys can answer if you guys know the answers. I won't. I guess I should say the answers, but I'll keep going. Here's your question, Mickey. Multiple choice. Which one of these Romero films did Tom Savini not work on? A. Monkey Shines. B. The Dark Half. C. Two Evil Eyes. D. Creep Show. And I would just have it keep going on like that. Like I have a lot of, who did the score for Argento's Inferno? And like it goes back and forth until one of them gets one wrong and it's a sudden death question, literally, a literal sudden death question for Sydney. And of course, Randy will win. Cotton Weary will come from behind. He'll tackle Mickey. They take care of the two antagonists and, the three of them ride off of the sunset. Cotton gets his Diane Sawyer interview. Sydney and Randy end up together. And, you can still do whatever with David Arquette and Courtney Cox. They're still there, but they didn't play as much of a vital, point in stopping these killers this time around. I thought that was cool. I think that'd be a really, really cool way to change things up, make it fun. Like, imagine the trivia game, like how fucking fun that would be. And like Sydney's face, like Nev Campbell's face throughout the whole thing, like looking back and forth, like, holy shit. Like whatever fucking nerd, those more and stuff. Oh, Ty Junebug got them both. Yes. Rob Bottin and Monkey Shines. Oh, okay. Ty Junebug, I'll ask you one more. Hold on. Yeah, that one's easy. Okay, yeah. Who did the score for Jesus Christ? Ty Junebug. See, Ty Junebug is saving Sidney Prescott from the Ghostface killer, Keith Emerson. Hell yeah, I love it. Thank you, brilliant. I really appreciate you saying that, man. I really do. I had fun with this. I thought this was really cool. I thought you could have a Wes Craven question in there too. Like, I think the last question I did was, who directed Deadly Blessing? And Mickey doesn't know, and he gets killed, and in the final line, Randy can walk up to his body, with a bullet in his head and go, the answer you were looking for was Wes Craven, and then fade to walking off into the sunset. I think that'd be a really cool way to end the film. Just a personal thing. Never liked the Debbie Saul character. Always felt it was a very bland finale for a really good film other than that, and I hated that they killed off the Randy character. So in my version, the Randy character is not only alive, but he's very vital to the finale in saving Sidney Prescott, and we're having a fun, badass horror movie trivia game. What's more meta than that? Where the winning answer is Wes Craven, the director. I think that would be a lot of fun personally. This is again, it's fan booking, but I'm having a blast with it, and I thank you so much, Aiden. I really appreciate that. I like my version of it a lot too, I still, again, I know people will probably go like, how do you not like Scream 2? I like Scream 2 a lot. I just think if you change these two things, Scream 2 would be like top tier sequel, like one of the best sequels of all time. If you change this up a little bit, because you're having a little fun, you're still having that meta tone. Your characters don't all have to fucking die, and so on and so forth. Yes, Wes Craven did direct Deadly Blessing. Scream 2 has the weakest twist. So did 3. 4 probably has the best twist behind the first. I actually like the twist of part 4 as well. I know a lot of people fucking hate 4, but I don't know. Yeah, I would agree. I don't like the reveal of the killer. So I promised Nate, though, that I'd read his Blair Witch concept sequel. So here we go. It's 2 years after the first film. 3 kids are going around Burkittsville, and they're doing stunts and pranks and recording their day. They hear about the missing film students and decide to go into Dr. McDreamy. No, I'm just kidding. The woods, and begin to realize it may be haunted. I think it would be a creepy follow-up where I would have hints at the witch, but not fully show her. It would be heavy on tension and atmosphere. I wanted the night scene to be even more creepy than the first, and overall I think it would be more creepy because the mythology involves children and it would add a creepy layer to the film. That's fantastic. I really like that. See, man, maybe I should have came to you because I really couldn't come up with anything better than I'd do the same thing again, That's basically where I went with this one. But I don't know. I think that's pretty fantastic. I really like that. I think that'd be a cool way to take it. Now, here's a question for you: would you have it be more slasher, or would you have it be more like the original film, where you know they slowly start to go insane again, and they start seeing the stick figures again? Like, because I don't know. I feel like sequels normally, bam, they tone up the volume and they tone up the body count. Like, I'm not sure where I'd go with it. I think that's like my biggest problem with trying to tackle it. It's a hard film, the sequel to tackle. I just wouldn't have done what they did. I think what they were like, oh, screw it. Like, I just was like, I don't know about that, man. Like, I wouldn't have said that. I would have literally tried to remake it again. So I don't know. So since I get to save Nev Campbell because I got all the trivia questions right, I don't I get to be doing Sydney? Oh, dude, I said it, man. You absolutely can get to be doing Sydney, man. You can wear the Randy shirt. I don't care, man. Your favorite horror movies now, Showgirls, all that stuff. I think I think you'd have fun with that. I don't know, maybe keeping the tension, but also have the kids start disappearing. Okay, hey, man, I'm all ears with that. I think that's really fantastic. So yeah, Nate's Blair Witch too, and I don't know if it would have a Book of Shadows subtitle to it too, but I mean mine wouldn't for sure. Back into the hat of fuck here. Let's see. Oh boy. Okay. Freddy versus Jason. Oh yeah. You know what though? I also have Freddy's Dead somewhere in here, which is I wanted to do that one and Jason Goes to Hell before I got into uh Freddy versus Jason, because I think I'll end the show with Freddy versus Jason because this is going to be a fun one. So I will skip right to Freddy's Dead because I think again this is a movie that a lot of people like. This is a movie that people have fun with, and this is a movie that I honestly have never been the biggest fan of. Aside from the opening, I love that opening song by the Goo Goo Dolls. I'm awake now. You can't touch me. I won't sleep no more. I love that opening song. I think it's like the best thing in the movie. But I'm gonna change Freddy's Dead here. I have to change this one. I think if I change this, and Jason Goes to Hell, I think that leads to the ultimate crescendo of changing Freddy versus Jason. So hear me out here. Freddy's Dead. I'm going to just pull it up here. Okay. Film opens up with Freddy stalking a teen in his dreams. Before he executes the kill, though, Freddy gets his ass kicked by the teen, and it is revealed that Freddy is a joke now. Kids go to Dreamland to beat him up and make a fool out of him. This is, of course, I'm not throwing anything too original here for you. This was originally a Peter Jackson idea for the script, and I love it. I would take, there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I like what you did. I'm going to take that too, but I'm going to add my own spin on it, and I'll get to my own spin on it. I like this. I think that's a really, really cool thing because after you get out of Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, it's almost like Freddy is a joke again. The dream child and calling everybody a bitch. Bon appetit, bitch. And I don't know why Freddy sounded like Fat Albert there. Um, and the shit with the power glove and nice hearing from you, Carlos. Like and the Wizard of Oz, and it became a fucking joke, man. And like whether you like that or not, you can't deny it became a joke. It wasn't you've got the body, I've got the brain. It wasn't watch this. It wasn't any of that stuff anymore that I loved about the creepy Freddy. So here, you know, we have Freddy becoming an absolute joke, not even just in the film series, but in the franchise. He is a joke now. Freddy went from intimidating scary figure to somebody that kids laugh at, make fun of, wear pajamas of. You can go meta with this too, because Freddy at that time was pop culture. So in essence, you can make fun of him like he's in pop culture, and Freddy's just down on his luck. He can't believe what's going on, and it is what it is. So basically, somewhere along the line, Freddy's going to manage Lucky Kill. And slowly but surely, building from there, Freddy is going to become scary again. And Freddy is going to butter people up again. And we're going to take all the stuff out with, Sean Greenblatt and the John Doe and Freddy having a daughter. and the origin with him and fucking Alice Cooper and the 3D. That's none of that's in this fucking film. None of it. I promise you, none of that's in this film. And if you like it, hey, you still got the film, right? I think that if you make this more serious, it'll work way better. And just as Freddy starts to establish himself again, the franchise in turn can reestablish itself. Horror itself can reestablish itself again because Freddy is now scary again. And, I think you could have a lot of fun with this. I'd have Lisa Wilcox come back one last time, finish off her trilogy, battle Freddy, take him out into the real world. And I won't lie, I think that the finale of Dream Warriors is a better finale for Freddy. I think the finale of the Dream Master, which I also have right here, I think that finale is a much better final comeuppance for Freddy Krueger as opposed to sticking him with dynamite and having him explode into 3 evil worms, which I thought was bizarre then, and I think it's even more bizarre now. I would change all that. I would take all that stuff out of the film. I don't like that stuff. I would just, again, Lisa Wilcox versus Freddy one last time. Freddy's not cracking as many one-liners in this one. He's back to the old school scary Freddy, where Lisa Wilcox, who is the ultimate, in my opinion, my favorite final girl of that series. I know a lot of people won't like that either, but I got to just be honest. I like Lisa Wilcox the best. I think she's a badass. Love my Dream Master. I think she would be a great final girl to beat him, and I would just have her grab him out of the dream world and kill him. And along the way, you can have some awesome, gory, scary kills. I mean, that's all this really has to be. It doesn't have to be so in-depth. I think that'd be a much better way to end the series. I know they decided to go out with more of a laugh than a bang, and I personally think it's always better to go out with a bang and better to go out with a more serious tone. So, bam, that's where Freddy's Dead is going to end, where more of a bang, not much of a comedy. Freddy's scary again. Freddy's intimidating again. Freddy's picking off people, but, Lisa Wilcox confronts him, and then bang, bang, boom, Freddy's dead. I think that's a much better way to tackle this. I know people love it. I know Nate loves it. Ryan loves it. I know a lot of people love and have fun with Freddy's Dead. I just think if you're going to do a finale, you should go all out with it. Again, just like Jason Goes to Hell. Like, I think you should absolutely go for it. Like, I don't feel like Freddy's Dead goes for it. I feel like Freddy's Dead is just a fucking, like, a comedy at times, and people love it for that, but, to each his own. Okay, so I was in the comments somewhere here. Don't change Freddy. I cleaned for your ears for you. I have a pitch for Granny's Graveyard and the Horror Boy. I did a commentary for Night of the Living Dead on my channel, and I think you guys should go with my shout out. Okay. I got a pitch for Granny's Graveyard and the Horror Boy. Since I did it on my channel, I want to hear both your guys' life. Oh, you want to hear our commentary? I'm sorry, I was confused. You want to hear our commentary on the film. I know Nate and I actually did a commentary for Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, which was a lot of fun, but I'd do a commentary for any film with Nate. Nate and me always have a fun time. Thank you again, Nate. I appreciate that. I think it would be a cool time. LOL. Yeah. I think it would be a really, really cool time for sure. Okay, so back to the hat. We're going to finish with Freddy's versus Jason because I feel like that's the one that's the most grand here. Let's see. Oh, okay, here's another one. Oh, Ryan's going to fall over. But again, not a movie I hate. Like, you got to keep this in mind. It is Black Christmas 2006. All right. Especially after the atrocity of the Black Christmas known as Black Christmas 2019. And apparently, someone told me this the other day. I could not believe my ears. There is a Black Christmas from 2016 called Billy Comes Home. I have not seen or heard of it until a couple days ago. If anybody has seen that shit or knows if it's, please let me know because I got to know. Like, it sounds pretty bad. It sounds like a student film. But I don't know. Apparently that movie exists. So my apologies. I've never seen that. But after the atrocity that was, Black Christmas 2019, a lot of people look back at Black Christmas 2006 and were like, oh man, maybe Black Christmas 2006 wasn't that bad. And I'll always say this. I always kind of like Black Christmas 2006. I think the film has a good style. I think Glenn Morgan does a good job directing. I think the colors are very vibrant. They pop off the screen. The atmosphere is good. The women are all fucking hot, have big old titties. I think the cast is great. And I think the setting is really good too. My problems, though, and they're few and far between. I think this is one, again, you change a couple things like Scream 2, bam, you've got a much better film. Number one, you can keep the fucked up backstory with, Billy and making the cookies out of their skin and shit. Like, that's fucked up. However, I'm shortening that. I'm shortening that backstory. That backstory is like 30 minutes of the film. It does not you don't need 30 minutes of fucking backstory. I'm shortening that stuff out. I'm eliminating the incest angle with the mom, and I'm eliminating the Agnes character entirely. Because, spoiler alert, at the end of the Black Christmas 2006 remake, it's revealed there's not one but two killers. Ooh. No. 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 Billy's the fucking killer. That's the end of that. Billy is the killer, okay? You want to have Agnes be the fucking killer? You can have Agnes be the fucking killer. It's one killer. No fucking two killers. That's stupid to me. The film just says one killer, that's Billy. And the finale in the hospital, I'd cut that out completely. I'd have the film start and end in the sorority house. I think that's much better setting and finale for your film. And it seems specifically that they didn't add meat to the potatoes with that hospital scene in the remake, but they added rotten potatoes to the meat. It felt like such a tagged on scene that they were like in post, like, oh, let's do this, So I don't know, was not a fan of it at all. I did not like that direction to have the film end in a hospital. It almost feels like it's a separate film. Now it's Halloween 2. Now it's Visiting Hours. Now it's Autopsy. No, this is Black Christmas. Let's stick with the Christmas theme. Let's have it end in the house with some kind of sick fucking Christmas visual, And I thought a cool way to have it end was our final girl, Kelly, who was also in the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. I always forget her damn name. You have her, and she's in the back of has her back to the wall. She's running away from Billy. Billy's trying to get her. All of a sudden, she sees this kind of hanging hook. And in similar vein to people remember how they killed the house lady in the first one, Billy just lets the hook go and gets her right in the neck. I think that'd be a cool way to kill Billy in this. Gets Billy in the neck, and then maybe the final visual is a Christmas tree where he has the hook through his neck and then maybe the star above his head as he's like lying there dead. I think that would be a really cool visual to end your fucking film, because this is a film full of good visuals. I like the visuals in Black Christmas 2006. I think Glenn Morgan very much cared about the source material. In fact, I believe Bob Clark, before he passed, may he rest in peace, was on the set of the film, and he okayed everything that Glenn Morgan wanted to do. So I think with the director's blessing, you just had a little couple tweaks here and there. No hospital ending. End it with a nod to the original where, bam, he's got a hook in his neck above the Christmas tree, creepy little visual there. And I'd cut that backstory out. There's no need to do the sister or the incest. None of that shit needs to be in there. That shit's just in there just to be in there. It doesn't add anything. Like I said, it adds rotten potatoes to the meat instead of adding, meat to the potatoes. It just doesn't work to me. I don't like that. But as a whole, I think if you change those two things, I think you got a pretty kick-ass remake, personally. I like the movie overall, but I definitely would change a couple things. So that is Black Christmas 2006. Here's the last one in the hat before we get to Freddy's versus Jason. Oh my fucking God. Here's the last. This one I had to rebook all the way from scratch too, because Mila Kunis insisted. American Psycho 2. Electric Boogaloo. Yes, American Psycho 2. Oh my God. All right. If I ever drank anything, I'd probably have to drink before this, man, because this would be fucking crazy. Thank you again, Aiden. I appreciate that. American Psycho 2. What they did with this film was they decided to have Mila Kunis play a student in an academy, and she's murdering people in her class, which is taught by William Shatner. And she's killing them because she wants to be Shatner's assistant someday. That's the motive. You get awful PG-13 like kills. The movie feels like an MTV episode of Teen Mom because it's directed by the same guy that directs those. Nothing against that show, but it does not work for a fucking American Psycho sequel. And to top it all off, in the opening 5 minutes, Mila Kunis, as a child, as a 6-year-old child, kills Patrick Bateman clean. Kills him clean. Kills him like it was nothing. And it's obviously a standee for fucking Christian Bale. I hate the sequel with a passion. I think it's one of the worst fucking movies I've ever seen in my life. I really do. Like, I think it is fucking bottom of the barrel. If it wasn't for Mila Kunis' hot ass, I don't know if I could have got through it because it's that fucking bad. So I rebooked the shit out of this one. I mean, I went back to the drawing boards. I fucking, I went back to that 70s show era, Mila Kunis. I sat Mila down and I told her what the fucking 411 was. So here we go. Okay. Mila Kunis' character is a slob. She's into heavy metal music like Metallica, Megadeth. She's not particularly intelligent, but she's not dumb either. There's a boy at school that's really into her, and everything seems as normal as it could be in an early 2000s teen romance film. Because around this era, that's really the type of movies like American Pie. This was a big time for 2000s teen rom-coms and not another teen movie. Like, this was the era where they were fucking, it felt like they were growing off trees. So my movie would start out like that. But obviously there's going to be a twist. It is not another teen movie, no pun intended. One night they're hooking up in the car together, and her boyfriend is not settling for second base tonight. He wants the home run. Mila gives it to him. Once they're done, Mila starts taunting him. You think you did well, huh? I could have done better with my fucking fingers. Yet you sit there with a smile on your face. What are you proud of? I let you touch my goddess-like body, and you didn't even last 10 minutes. The boyfriend apologizes and starts to look upset. There's an awkward silence. Let me show you how to neck kiss. Bam! Mila Kunis bites this motherfucker's jugular vein. This motherfucker's bleeding like crazy. Mila Kunis is laughing her ass off. She turns on the radio for some fucking Megadeth. Starts fucking head bobbing. I know this sounds crazy. I know this, man. But hear me out. Hear me out. Here's the psychology behind this, okay? The first American Psycho. I sat down and I thought, what makes the first American Psycho work? And I think it's the psychology. I think it's the fact that all serial killers don't necessarily have to be the hicks on the farm, so to say. Here's a movie where, Patrick Bateman, he's a monster. He is a psycho who wears a three-piece suit, who takes insanely cleansing showers, who is so obsessed about his business card being perfect. He's a freak, and he's a neat freak, and he likes Huey Lewis and the News, and he's into all sorts of weird shit that you would not necessarily associate a male serial killer to be into. So what I did with my film, I had Mila Kunis do the same exact thing, but the opposite. Instead of, if you look at Mila Kunis, you're going to think, oh, she's well put together. She's beautiful. She's clean. She probably likes girly things. Nope. She likes heavy metal. She's hardcore about sex. She's fucking, a slob, all this stuff. I tried to turn it on its head. Whereas, Patrick Bateman was the suave psycho. She's the slob psycho. That worked out so well. I don't even know. It just came to me. I thought that was really cool. And I thought that was a cool way to take this if I'm going to take it in a different direction. Because I think personally American Psycho is perfect. So I'm not making a sequel where Patrick Bateman is involved. I'm making a sequel where it's just another American Psycho, because there are plenty of American Psychos out there, and we follow Mila Kunis' character. So there's no involvement of Bateman. There's no mention of Bateman, because you can't ruin that ending. That ending is all up to us. What happens at the end? Was Bateman, imagining he did the murders? Was Bateman actually committing the murders? We don't know. And that's the beauty and the mystique of that film. So I'm not going to ruin it with the sequel here and say, oh, Bateman went to prison or I killed Bateman. No, none of that. Like, I'm not fucking with that film. This is just another American Psycho at another part of the country, kicking ass, killing motherfuckers, listening to heavy music, getting off on it, taking names. And I think that'd be a lot of fun. And I think Mila could pull that off. I think if you give Mila a fun role to play, she's going to really pull that off. Okay, so she starts taunting him, stuff like that. She kills him with the neck bite of the jugular vein, and the film becomes a blast from there. Mila picking off one good guy after another. Her whole psychology is fuck the good guys in the world. It's just an act. They're just putting on an act because the overly jock guys, they're at least really saying how they feel. Whereas for her, she doesn't like the goody two shoes that, oh, I'm respectful, I'm a gentleman, and then all they want to do is really get in her pants at the end of the day. I think that'd be a really cool and fun way to do this. Even though she doesn't like the jocks, she respects them because they are themselves to the core. They don't hide themselves. And one night she's confronted by a victim who asks if maybe she's hiding too. And you'll have this whole psychology where this guy will go at her and be like, are you really any better? Aren't you hiding yourself? You present yourself as this beautiful girl when on the inside you are a slob, when on the inside you're into Metallica, when on the inside you are anything but what you present to us. And you could have that moment of, oh my God, the pot's calling the kettle black. And maybe throughout the whole film, the pot has been calling the kettle black. And I think that'd be a really interesting way to take an American Psycho film where, she's screwing with these guys mentally, she's screwing them physically, she's killing them. And then at the end, somebody says, why don't you take a look in the fucking mirror? Because at the end of the day, you're worse than all the people you've been killing. And I think that would be a really, really cool way to take this movie. And I think that would be, if they ever were to do a sequel to American Psycho, if you could go back, if you could turn back time, if you could find a way, if you could hit up Mila Kunis and say, Mila, give me one more chance to do this. If you give me the script, give me the book, give me the fucking director's chair, that's what I would do with this. And I think it'd be really, really, it would work well because I think at the end of the day, the reason American Psycho works is the psychology. And that's why I really attacked it from a psychology standpoint. And with a good actress like Mila Kunis, I think a lot of good things can be done there. So that's American Psycho 2. And now we are on to the final film of the evening, The Last Name in the Hat. I took it out before, but I figured this would be a fun one to end with. It is none other than Freddy versus Jason. Rebooking Freddy versus Jason. Once again, another film I like. I like Freddy versus Jason. However, once again, if you gave me the book, I think I could change a couple things here and there that would really make the film better. So here, without further ado, we're going to throw this up here. All right. I'm going to go for this. Both Freddy and Jason wake up in hell. They're confronted by Satan himself, played by none other than Tony Todd. I think Tony Todd would play a great fucking Satan. So I want Tony Todd, the opening of the film, Freddy and Jason in hell staring each other down. Jason's head is now back to his neck, I guess, because he's in hell and he's dead, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm not going back on my booking here. Satan says, for years, you two, Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees, have been my biggest and baddest killers. Jason has the body count edge, but Freddy has made his victims suffer more than anyone else I've ever seen. I think it's safe to say that both of you hit your peaks long, long ago, and now you've hit below the bottom of the barrel. You're here in hell with me. This is meta on a lot of fronts because those two characters, they did hit their peaks long ago. Let's be honest. Friday the 13th part 4 and 5, I think, are the peak for Jason. And then when you look at Freddy, I think the first 4 are his peak. And then when you get to part 5, when you get into part 6, if in a world where you rebook my part 6, I think maybe part 6 would have a lot more fans. But let's say, this does take place in the universe where 5 and 6 didn't do as well. Jason Goes to Hell, obviously, is the same film. Didn't go as well, but, we'll go from there. You've hit the bottom of the barrel. You're here in hell. The good news is for one night, I'm going to send you both back up there, and whoever's killed more before the dawn breaks will get to continue to stay up there and continue to carry out your work. The other will be sent back to me where your suffering will be legendary. Freddy and Jason are sent back up to the earth, and the tally begins. The scores will be kept at the bottom of the corners. Freddy's in red, Jason's in blue, and they start to clean house in camp, Crystal Lake, Elm Street. They're cleaning house everywhere. And this is where, you could write in fun, creative death scenes. I didn't, just for the sake of time, but you could have the body count be crazy. I had the body count at the end going, the score is tied 50-50. Yep, 100 people body count, right? And with the dawn approaching, the battle begins between the two. Jason is destroying Freddy until Freddy gets a shot to the eyes with the razor glove. Freddy thinks he's ended Jason as he starts to stab him in the heart, stab him in the head, stab him in the neck. He's stabbing the hell out of him and disposes him in the lake. And Freddy then takes a seat on the dock. He's watching as the dawn starts to break. He's killed his final victim. He thinks that he is outscored Jason until Jason jumps out of the water. Again, a nod to the original film. Grabs Freddy Krueger into the son of 1,000 maniacs into the water. And then the film fades to black. And we're like, oh my God, this can't be the ending, right? The next scene we see is in hell. Both of them are chained up with like fire chains, right? And Satan is pissed. Tony Todd is fucking pissed, right? 100 bodies between the two of you, yet you end with no one emerging as the winner. I'm so disgusted. Instead of killing more innocent people, you decided to try to kill each other. I'm passing you off to somebody else who knows what to do with you. Out of the darkness emerges Pinhead. Pinhead says, gentlemen, what seems to be the problem here? Film ends. I think that would be a cool, again, I've heard that theory before. I've heard it on the Camp Crystal Lake documentary, the whole thing with Pinhead at the end. I've heard theories with Ash, having Ash somehow get in there, which would be fun too. But I think making it like an arcade style fucking movie would be fun, like a comic book film. You literally have these two great assailants, the two horror icons, slasher icons of the 80s. And for one night, they are able to go back up to Earth, wreak havoc, kill people off one by one, whoever scored more. And you can literally have at the bottom of each corner, the number toll going up, ping, 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 and then 50-50 face off, 10-minute battle to the death. And then neither guy can die, right? Neither guy can kill each other. So what else? Satan's so pissed at them, he literally hands them off to the Hellraiser. I think that is a fun way to end this film. Again, you could have Freddy get his offense in, you get Jason get his offense in, so fans of either can make the case where, well, Jason won. No, fuck you, Freddy won. No, you fucking don't know shit. No, you don't know shit. That's the point of a film like this, to have these two motherfuckers walking out of the theater arguing about it and go, oh my God, man, when fucking Pinhead showed up, I nearly shit myself. Stuff like that. I think that's a lot of fun. But yeah, man, that's what I would do. Freddy vs. Jason. I think a couple tweaks here and there, I think the film would be, really perfect. I love that Pinhead ending. I think that Pinhead ending should have been the ending. I think that would have been really, really cool, personally. But my version is, thank you. My version is badass. I would add Michael in at some point just because I love him. Oh man, that would be crazy. Like it would be cool if Satan was like, all right, who do we have next? The patient's name is Michael Myers from Smith Grove Sanitarium. Bring him in. Like that would be a cool, like, alternate scene with Tony Todd talking to fucking Michael Myers. That would be really cool too, I think. So, it is what it is. I think that'd be a lot of fun to tackle, a lot of fun to do, throwing Pinhead in there and having Freddy and Jason kill 100 people in a film and then going for the necks of each other. I think that'd be a lot of fun. And of course, without mention, Kane Hodder would be brought back as Jason. No fucking Ken Kersinger, no Ronnie Yu. John Grande's in the director's chair. John Grande's in the booking seat, and John Grande's calling up Kane Hodder and apologizing for the dummies that didn't want to fucking recast him, okay? Your version of Freddy vs. Jason is fantastic. God bless you, man. Aiden, I appreciate all the support. Okay, so that is the 10 films. It was a lot of scrap metal here, but I had a lot of fun doing this, and I would definitely be down to do this again. Again, though, this took a while. I wrote so much on this fucking phone the past week that, like, I was like, Jesus Christ, like, people are gonna think I have no fucking life, which during the quarantine, I really don't. So it is what it is, I guess. Thank you though for watching. I really do appreciate the support, and it seemed like most of this stuff got positive feedback. It seemed like you guys liked most of my rebookings, and the fun of this is I will open the door up, man. If any of you guys want to do a rebooking episode, or send me something that you'd like to change, like a horror movie where you're like, oh my God, why did they do that? Let me know. Tell me what you would change. We talk about it. Maybe we can, work together and figure one out, you know. Whatever you want to do, I think it's pretty cool. I think that's the fun of booking. It's being creative, it's having fun. But I think at the same time, what I think the difference between mine and some of these movies that I don't like, you know, in the vein of Jason Goes to Hell, I think there's more passion with my booking here. Like I'm trying to put passion and respect for the franchises in here. Like little nods to the original, little nods to, you know, what made some of these movies work or not. And whether they work or not in your eyes, I think it was just fun for me to do. It was fun to kind of get my creative juices out there, put my money where my mouth is, if you will. And I don't know, I had a fun show. So thank you all for watching. You know, Aiden, Ryan, Ty Junebug, Horror Boy, AJ was here early on. I had a blast doing this. This was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. I don't know what the show's going to be next week. I'm going to try to keep it fresh as always. And I'll be watching some stuff. Maybe I'll talk a little Japanese horror. I don't know. I just watched Ju-On the Grudge last night. Would love to do an episode on that. I think that'd be a lot of fun. But we will see. We will see. So without further ado, that is going to be it for the show today. I'm John Vance Player, the Cemetery Man from Salem, Mass. Always taking names and kicking candy ass. Live and living color here with you on YouTube. Too sweet, ladies and gents. This is the special guest booker, and I'm out, ladies and gents. Peace out, everybody.